What's up, guys? We're back. We do this every day at 12:30. We're coming at you with how do you get your health right? You know, how do you inspire the experience that you want to live? Because this isn't about me inspiring your experience. It's about you inspiring your own experience. You have ultimate responsibilities for everything in your life, everything that you have. It is on you. And the sooner you take that responsibility, the better. So today we're talking about fear-based truths, and hardly anybody actually know what these are. And that's perfectly fine. I totally understand. This is not a concept that was taught to you in schools. None of this stuff really that we're going to teach in here is taught to you in schools. Almost all the status quo stuff actually goes against what we talk about. Not completely head to head, but a lot sometimes. But this is something that nobody teaches you this in school. Nobody teaches you this in life. Nobody teaches, like, we're coming at you with stuff that they should have taught you in school. They should have taught you in school, and they never did. Somewhere along the line, all this stuff got messed up. It used to be that, you know, we had some type of coming of age story. You know, we had some type of coming of age process. Have that anymore. You know, we don't have, and we think it's bad actually. Like some hazing stuff wasn't bad. But we look at hazing as like the most awful thing and like terrible stuff. Some of the hazing stuff was bad, was real bad, and some big deal. But why do we come here? To educate, to inspire, and to bring ourselves out of obscurity. All right, so for me, there's a lot of stuff out there that a lot of people just don't know that I was fortunate enough to have enough kind of hardships in my own life that I had to go and I had to find solutions to things that weren't provided for me. No one taught me what a fear-based truth was. No one said, you know, it challenged me on things that were holding me back from how I wanted to live my life. Nobody was there to provide that. Now I have some pretty wonderful parents, so I'm not putting that on them, but no, you're not. If you guys don't mind, please take the time to share this out and bang on that like button when it comes up. It means the world to me that you guys are interacting with each other and with me on here. So it's not just me preaching out, but we do this to educate, to bring you stuff that the world's not going to teach you unless you go search for it. 2 is to inspire you, to get you to inspire your own experience. I guess that you're not living the exact experience that you dreamed of when you were 5 years old right now. I'm going to guess that not everything that you wanted to have in this experience has happened. So make a happy experience in yourself. Go get that thing, you know, whatever it happens to be. And the third one is, like, to me, like we want you to come in here. We are the best by far. There's no competition in here. We are the absolute best at what we do. There's no doubt about that. And if we don't get enough, then we are able to fulfill our purpose because you won't come in here. So I need to bring us out of obscurity, post out. If you know someone that would benefit from our service that needs to get in better shape, that needs to get in shape that is actually appropriate for their body, that needs to get assessed, which is everybody. It needs to be around other people that are positive and willing to challenge and willing to be there for each other in a tribe, you know, that are willing to provide how they've recovered and how they get better recovery in their life and how they challenge their own mindset and how they get better nutrition. Everybody needs that. So if you know someone, please send this in a direct message to them. We need to get out of obscurity. So that's the third reason why we do this. But today we're talking about fear-based truths. You know, what is a fear-based truth? And I think one of the big things in here is to ask yourself, does truth mean reality? And how do you define truth? Because a lot of people think like truth, like that's the real thing. That's what hurt. Truth is based on a perception. Objective reality is based on something tangible, something real, something that actually happened. You know, right now in the world, I think this is actually coming to play where eyewitness testimonies are not they can't use them anymore because people mess up what they thought that they saw. To them, the murderer was wearing they know it, they absolutely know it for positive sure, no doubt about it. It is true to them, as me sitting right here in a black shirt, that the murderer was wearing a yellow hat. But when we look at it on a video camera, we see that the murderer was wearing a yellow t-shirt instead. But it was true to the eyewitness. To the eyewitness, it was absolutely true. However, the truth did not match. So when we get into this, truth is based on perception. We are looking for objective reality. What is the objective reality of the situation? In a lot of different scenarios. You know, you see the athlete that finds a way to win, that finds a way to lose, that finds, you know, and there are non-winners, and we'll get into that here in a second. You know, you find the spouse that creates cheap drama to avoid deepening the bond together. Like, this is a difficult one. You know, true love is one of those things that really, like, it sounds like it's pretty tough to find, you know, because you don't find it, you make it. You know, you cultivate it, you build it, you grow that shit, right? But if you're just constantly creating cheap drama, you're putting your relationship at risk. And if you don't think that you're enough to be in a relationship that has that love, how in the world do you think that you're going to be able to cultivate it? You're not. You're going to sabotage it every second of the way. You know, the same thing happens with a musician that gets on stage and gets stage fright. He or she sabotages his success. You know, you get stage fright to avoid success almost. I don't deserve success, so I'm going to avoid it by getting stage fright. Well, I got so scared in front of all those people that I couldn't do it. You know, I think that was a lot of my problem going into these videos. And I think that they're just going to keep getting better and better and better. But I don't really know much about presentation. All I know is that I need to challenge my fears, because these are weird. You guys don't know that. You guys are here. It even gets weirder when more and more of you show up, for me anyway. You know, the stutterer. What about the He's scared. He got nervous. He started stuttering. He got scared that he wasn't good. Like the kid in, what's the movie? Billy Madison that starts Junior. That kid. Well, that kid probably is scared to death to read in front of his class because he's scared he's not good enough at reading. And so he proves it, because we like to be right. So he proves it to himself because he had the truth of not being enough, not a good enough reader. He proved it to himself and the class by stuttering. And we all do this. We all have this. This is the thing. This is the one commonality that binds every single on the planet. Every single one of us has the truth that we are afraid that we're not enough. And I've wasted tons and tons of days terrified of not being enough. And you have too. Every single person on earth is terrified of not being enough. And it's not based on anything. It's based on a perceived truth. It's not based on anything real or objective. You know, the fat person that thinks that they're not enough to be the athlete that thinks they don't deserve to win. The writer who thinks that their words aren't good enough to put out there, so they never put out anything, even though maybe that's all they ever wanted to do was write. You know, like for instance, I've written 3 books before this. 3 books that I never published, never did anything with. Sat on a shelf, too scared to do anything with them. Too scared to even finish them all the way. Why? Because I was scared that they weren't enough. So we all have this one truth, this one big truth that binds every single one of us. We all have this, and we all get the challenge. And on some level, I'm kind of glad for this truth because it creates this huge level of challenge that we all have to take. You know, but we're all afraid that we're not enough, and we have to challenge this because we really get 2 choices. Okay, the default is always going to be, I'm afraid I'm not enough, so you go and you fuck up. And the other one is that you can choose to be all in. And if you're all in, you always win, okay? I didn't mean for that to rhyme, but it did. So I'm going to use it. So how do we do this? How do we get ourselves, so when we go into this fear of not being enough, what happens? This is where we feel anger, anxiety, guilt, embarrassment, worry. A lot of these, you know what I mean? We call them feelings. They're fears. They're fears that we're not enough. Okay, I'm scared I'm not enough to win the ball game. I'm scared I'm before the championship game. You know, the batter gets in the batter's box and he's taken thousands and thousands of cuts in his life. Why does he all of a sudden forget that bat when he's on a 3-2 count? Why does walking up to a girl or guy, let's say you're a guy, because I've done this way too many times. Let's say I'm a guy and I see a girl that I'm crushing on hard. And this is like, let's say I was back in college, because this is when this happened. No matter what, I'm going to do it. I'd walk up and I'd forget how to talk. I can talk just fine, you know? Or on these videos, what would happen if I got nervous and just forgot how to talk? I just got nervous. You forget how to do what you know how to do because you're afraid that you're not enough. If you knew that you were enough walking in there, if you could be present and that's enough, then you'd probably be able to perform in that moment up to the best of your capabilities. And at your best on your best day under those circumstances, like you could have in the top-notch, you know, day of your life, you know, but your best is always your best, and your best is always getting better if you're willing to do your best. So that's anxiety, you know, it's forgetting how to do what you know how to do. It's because you get afraid that you're not enough. If you knew that you were enough, you just pull it off. Anger is a similar thing. And a lot of people have a lot of trouble with this because they want to justify their anger. You know, they're like, no, anger, I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid. Anger isn't that I'm scared. Yeah, it is. It's psychological distance. So if I can push you away, if I can create psychological distance, I'm trying to push you away from you seeing that I'm afraid. That's the hope. That's the irrational, unreasonable fear in the mind of the angry person. You know, I go to anger. I'm a naturally very aggressive person. I always grew up swinging or came out swinging, you know, just brute. Little kid, you watch little home videos, little blonde Indian looking boy Adam rocking around. Yeah, he's just a brute. It's funny, but at the same time, I go to aggression. I go to anger. Anger is just me being scared. It's just me being scared of something silly. You know, guilt is another one that is a huge vice for me. You know, like you fail the test, you let someone down, you know, you hurt someone's feelings, you offended someone. Those are all bullshit. You can't offend anybody. That's them. They get offended, you offend them. I can't offend you. What happens in your side of your head is your responsibility. What happens inside my head is my responsibility. If I get mad at you for something, that's on me, not on you. Doesn't matter what you did. Guilt, same thing. If someone lays down a guilt trip, it's up to me whether I join them in that activity or not. If someone miserable walks across, you know, they're usually asking for an invitation. They're inviting you into their misery. I don't want to join them in that crap. Then they eventually call you an asshole, because I've been called an asshole a lot because I'm not willing to go there with them. And I'm not an asshole. I'm just not willing to go to that nasty place that you're treating yourself like right now. But we all have these. We basically most people have gotten anxious at some point in their life, nervous, something. Most people have gotten angry. Most people have felt guilty, embarrassed, worried, you know, whatever it is. But what are you going to do? Fear-based truths take away from everything. They take away from your ability to bond with your, whether it's platonic or romantic. It takes away from your ability to love yourself. It takes away from your ability to perform in a competitive or cooperative setting. You know, there's just tons of different, we're going to stay away from the subject that just crossed my mind, but there's tons of what we end up doing is we create a story in our environment. We set it up. We set this up just like a stage. We set up a story to validate our truth. Okay, we set up the story to validate our truth. For instance, the guy that is scared to go up and talk to the girl. He's probably going to do something obnoxious with his friends right before that because he's nervous. And she's going to look over and be like, what a doofus. And then he's going to walk up to her doing his little strut thing and look like an idiot. And then he's going to say he's going to lay some sweet line on her. It's probably pathetic, you know. And then she's going to reject him. He set that all up. He set all of that up so that he could not enough to have the girl that he wanted. You know, and if he would have challenged that, if pulled it off. Maybe it would have been a different scenario. Maybe the batter, if he's all in that situation, he sees the pitch that he likes, he's patient, and he hits that pitch because he's been waiting for it. He knows that it's just another pitch that he's all in that. Maybe with your spouse, you can be so understanding and so compassionate and realize where they're coming from, understanding level, that you can end up bonding on a level that hardly anybody in the history of the world has ever known. You know, I don't know. What I think is going on there is people think truth is the objective reality. Truth is not the objective reality. Truth is based on your perception of the reality, and you know that you have seen this at some point. Adolf Hitler thought he was a great guy. Al Capone thought he was a great. Some of the worst murderers in history have gone down writing letters at the end of their life saying that their heart was good, that their intentions were good. They thought that they were good people. Obviously, they've done some bad things. You know, what happens if that's what they're expecting? You know, their subconscious was playing out in this fear-based truth sort of thing. The thing is, like, the fear of not being enough comes up, and you end up saying, I know that I'm enough. Well, yeah, you might know that you're enough consciously, but then you have your subconscious. Your subconscious runs the entire show. It's kind of like our reptilian brain, our mammalian brain, our higher brain. You know, humans are the only ones with a higher brain. We have higher brain function that allows us to do stupid things like for instance, if I said, if I went up to a chimpanzee and tried to convince it that if it gave me its banana, I would give it endless bananas in heaven, it might believe me. It's not going to believe me. It's going to take its banana. But humans in our higher brain, we are like, yeah, okay, well, here's the banana. I'll wait for my bananas in heaven. Thank you very much. You know, and the mammalian brain is where we get our social, and really runs a lot of the show. The reason that we even have a mammalian brain is because the outsiders of our group that were just living with their reptilian brain ended up being picked off. The more social you are, the more you are able to survive, leading to us. And your reptilian brain really runs the whole show. Your reptilian brain is your survival. It's your sex, it's your fight or flight, and it's your food. You know, we need to procreate to continue the species, and we need to fight or we need to run in certain scenarios. So your reptilian brain runs the show because it's older, and then your mammalian brain kicks in a little bit more, and then you're hiding out doing all the cool stuff with like technology, like this all this technology that's in front of me right now that's videotaping this and transporting it over to you through the internet that we created with our higher brain. So our higher brain is really, really smart. But the really, really stupid thing is that your higher brain doesn't have any control over your subconscious truths. And your subconscious truth is that you're afraid that you're not enough, and no one is exempt from this. You, me, everyone that you've ever met, everyone who's ever lived, everybody has this. And it depends on what you're dealing with. Because there's different scripts, you know, some people are winners, some people are non-winners, some people are losers. And I don't mean some people just always find a way to lose. Do you get what I mean? They always find a way to lose. In their mind, they are losers, so they find a way to lose. Non-winners are kind of the same way. They find a way to not win. They kind of can go up into the winner category. They kind of go down the loser category. They're not losers. They aren't winners either. You know, and winners just kind of always tend to find a way. They kind of find a way to figure it out. Well, however they do it, you know, if you test me out on this, you know, naturally I'm a fairly high level non-winner. I'm not in the winner category, you know. But at this point in my life, I think that I've challenged a lot of these things to get closer and closer to that winner category. Yeah, Brent wrote Tom Brady. I think Tom Brady, if you look at earlier in his career, I don't know a ton about sports, but like I didn't even start in college. And he goes to the NFL, and he doesn't start for a while, and then he starts, and now he's Tom Brady. You know, he had to have done major psych stuff to be able to get to where he is. How do you come from a situation where you're down by, I think he was down by 21 points at halftime, and still come back and win that game? Brent says, I don't care if you like him, he is a winner. He is a winner. There's no doubt about it. There's no doubt about it that he has challenged his mindset enough to be able to, maybe he was never even that good of a quarterback. He just slowly but surely got better and better and better and better, because your best is always getting better. Maybe he just eventually became that damn good. You know what I mean? Maybe he was a winner all along and just built his skills, or he had the skills but wasn't a winner and then later built up his mindset. But this is mindset stuff. The one truth that we all have is that we are afraid that we're not enough, and you got to challenge it. But we create the stories in our lives to validate our own truth. If you don't think that you deserve to have the girl or the guy in the relationship, you're going to sabotage it. If you don't think that you deserve to have the health in your life, you're going to sabotage that. You know, and you can look at your script. This is kind of an interesting thing. I find this very interesting. This isn't ironclad or anything, but for the most part, psychology would say that you get your script, your fate, your story, what you live by, like whether you're a winner, non-winner, loser, you know, how it pan out. Rachel says my analogies. Sometimes my analogies are awful, but you get your script from your opposite gendered parents. So mine comes from Janet. You don't want to know who I'm a lot like? My grandpa, that is her dad. If you get it from your opposite gender parent, and you're male, you're looking at your mom's dad. If you're a female, you're looking at your dad, and then you're looking at your dad's mom. Okay? So look at them. They're going to, how their life is played out, what they're willing to do in their life, how far they're willing to take, you know, like for me, like Janet will do whatever it takes. That lady is fucking crazy. You know, she will do whatever it takes to get the job done. I'm fucking crazy. Okay? Same thing. We are just extremely similar because we have a similar script. She's just like her dad. You know, you tend to get your behavior from your same gendered parent. I also act a lot like my dad, you know, which isn't bad. I mean, I made that sound bad, but it's not bad. But Janet has an awesome script. Your parents, and you get to see some of the things because you got your foundation from them. Everything that you know in your life, every single thing that you know in your life, you built probably off of that foundation, off the foundation that they provided. Oh, you guys are blowing up those likes. I must have said something good. I love that when you guys bang around when you bang on the like button. It's pretty awesome. What was I talking about? But yeah, a few of the truths that I had. I'm a slow learner. My camps don't like me. I know. I used to say this a lot. I guess I'm just ugly. I guess I'm just an ugly dude. You know, there was a lot of these. You know, I don't learn slow. I'm an extremely good learner. But some of that was just a focus and a drive to learn a lot of stuff, because when I was a kid, they told me you learn slow, you're stupid, prepare for a rough life, you're not like the other kids, and there's no way that you can't be like the other kids, you have to take this drug. And I said, go fuck yourself, I'll show you. And what my mom said to me on the way home, she said, you're gonna have to work 10 times as hard as everybody else. And in my head, I said, I'm gonna learn 10 times as much as everybody else too. Worked out pretty well, you know? But that was always my mindset. You know, I'm not a slow learner. I focus extremely well. I have a super hyper focus when I want to. Other times I'm kind of going everywhere all at once. But I have to bring that in, and you do too. Every single person does have to do that. You know, my biggest mistake in my life right now, and this could offend some people, which I hope it does. I hope it does, because I hope it stirs and muds up everything in people's brains. My biggest mistake is not realizing how great I really am. And it is yours too. It is your biggest mistake in your life that you do not realize how great you really are, how powerful you really are, how much love you actually have inside of yourself, how much power you have in here, how much joy you are not living and experiencing in your life, the joy of being you. To you, that your greatest mistake in this life right here, right now, is that you are not realizing how absolutely amazing you are and incredible you are as a person, and how much you're not even getting close to living up to that. So you got to challenge those fear-based truths, because that's what's killing you. That's what's killing your life. But the one non-negotiable truth, because we're going to get, where is it? That's what we made this for. That's what we made the poster for. So we've got, can you see that? So you've got, what is this one? Are you going to be all in with yourself today, or are you going to be afraid that you're not enough today? That's what we built this for, because this is basically how your decision-making process happens on a second by second by second basis. Maybe even not a full second. Most people are going to go to this place where they don't feel like they're enough. It's your anger, your anxiety, your fears, okay? And you're going to usually find it reasonable. Do not find this reasonable. They're not reasonable. It is not reasonable to think that your best isn't enough, because it's all that you have to give. It's all that you have to give. Your best has to be enough. You can't do better than your best, you little perfectionist, you, so knock it off. Oh, it's backwards because Facebook turns it backwards. Thanks. You're so right in a lot of this. We are our own worst enemy. That's why I really like a great reminder to get out of your own way. That's exactly what we're trying to do, is try to get people to get out of their own way. Is that, like, it's not something we get to talk about a ton in here. But if you can get out of your own way, if you could just get out of your own way, you would just be able to do outrageous things. It's kind of like when I talk about meditation, what it's really doing is you getting out of your own way so that you can solve your own problems, so that you can just focus on that one thing. Because if you could only focus on one thing, as if nothing else exists, you know, nothing else exists in the whole world, think incredible you could be in that one moment. But yeah, the opposite side of this. So these are all your fears. If you find these reasonables, you're going to get more of them. You're going to create this cycle. You know, if you want to challenge this, if you refocus and you confront this, which is the courage, this is the coward, this is the courageous. This is the coward's way out. This is where the victim goes. There's plenty of benefit in being a victim. You get a lot of friends, you want to go be a victim. But you don't get real friends. You get shit friends. You get crappy friends. You get people who are miserable, and you just suck further into all of their crap. Over here, this is where real relationship, this is where bonding happens. I'm talking about like true love. I'm talking about the good stuff. This is the good stuff. This is where you want to be. This is where selfish is a good thing, where me helping you does help me. Okay, this is the good stuff. This is where you want to get to. This is all in. This is your absolute best in every single moment, right here, right now. Okay, that's what we created the poster for, so that you could challenge your own fears, so that you had a framework to be able to put yourself through. If you just get caught up in your own, not based on any kind of objective reality, you are going to fall victim to your own perpetration. I think I just made up a word, but is perpetration, anybody know if perpetration is a real word? But yeah, you've got winners, non-winners, and losers. And depending on which one you want to be in, like me, I want to be a winner. I want to be a high achieving person, so I got to push up into that category. All of us have the fear that we're not enough. Get over it. It just is. Start challenging it. And not acknowledging that fear that you're not enough is actually you finding it reasonable that your anger, that your anxiety, that your guilt is where it should be. You know, the one non-negotiable truth, the one non-negotiable, none of it. It is not negotiable. Is that you're going to love you. Because to me, my definition of love is that I'm present, and that's enough. So right here in this moment, my absolute best is enough right here, right now. But but if I'm going, I need to give it all. It requires that I give what I possibly have. You know, but truth is based on perception. It is based on what is actually tangible and real. And that's where you want to get to. You want to look at what is tangible and real, not this perceptive truth that you can flip around. The bank robber still thinks he's a good person. Adolf Hitler thought that he was doing good things. You know, there's plenty of people that do this. They create the story to validate their own fear-based truth. You want to challenge fear-based truth today, stop you from your own greatness. Your biggest mistake in this life is that you don't realize or practice you really are. Muhammad Ali, actually, I'm kind of stealing from him a little bit, because that's one thing that he said. He said, I am the greatest. I am the greatest, which everybody's already heard. But he followed that up with, my only error, my only mistake. So what he says, I think he says, my only mistake is that I don't realize how great I really am. It's awesome because it's totally accurate. It's 100% accurate. I mean, whether he was the greatest or not, who knows? That's his truth that he was trying to believe. He needed to believe that. If you're going to be the top, if you're going to be that kind of anomaly, the top in the world, you better start believing that you have, otherwise that's got to become your truth. You got to become the truth. If you want to be six-pack, you got to start believing that you deserve to have a six-pack, that that's the person that you are. I'm well past time though. Thanks for being here, guys. I really appreciate it. I'm trying to finish these in half an hour. It doesn't always happen, but please share this out. Obscurity is the biggest obstacle that we have right now. More people. If everybody in the world knows about Grit Gym, good things are going to happen. It does help me to help others. So hopefully this has been helpful to you guys. I appreciate it so much. What you guys don't know, you anyways are much the inspiration for everything that I do. You know, my past, I've had to challenge my past and things that I've had to challenge is back then. And I learned from that. But if it wasn't for just how other people get it in their own way, it would be hard to do. And you guys being willing to be here, and the people that are in Grit Gym being willing to challenge that, like, that's massive courage, you know? It's awesome to see you guys do stuff that you know scares you, that I can tell scares you, and you just do it anyway. That is inspiration to me. So hopefully you guys got something out of this. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. But I'm going to sign off. Thank you.